If you're struggling to sell your house right now, just know you're not alone. Google searches for "can't sell house" have reached a new record, and they're now higher than they were back during the 2008 housing crisis. High home prices and mortgage rates have kept a lot of potential buyers on the sideline. All right, so fine. Marcus, a lot of people are searching this phrase. Does it tell you that the housing market is as bad as it has been over these past many years, or are you seeing signs of life? Don't worry about the search results.
It's not a rate issue in my mind. It's an issue of, if I sell my house, how buried am I in it based on my mortgage? Am I going to be able to pull out enough equity, and am I going to be able to move somewhere else? And am I going to have enough equity to close on somewhere else? And you hear people all the time say, I can't sell my house now, even though I'd make a couple $100,000, because I don't know where I would go. I don't know what I could afford. I think the gridlock is a function of, where do I go? 1. 2, what is my mortgage? 3, do I have a delusion, I think as Dagan was saying, around the elasticity curve? And if I just drop my price, would I sell it? Some people can't afford to drop their price.
But Jackie, can't sell my house tell you that if you're thinking about going from one to the other, can't sell my house searches means there's more and more people out there who would like to sell their house, right?
Yes.
I mean, and that's an increase in supply that should have, from a buyer's perspective, a positive effect on price.
But they're delusional about price. You can always sell your house. There's going to be somebody out there who would buy it, but you've got to drop the price until you can move it. If you're in an emergency situation where you have to dump it and get out of it, or if your lifestyle has changed for whatever reason, you can always sell it. So I get a little frustrated by this "can't sell my house," because it's like, what does that mean?
It means won't sell my house.
It means won't sell my house, or can't get the price that I want from it for it, which seems sort of silly to me.
So, okay, Dagan, I'm just going to throw into the mix the kind of the ban on investors that has been in the legislative sphere lately. President Trump has talked about it. Some people see that as like a demand side help to allow individual home buyers. Take that on if you want to, but aren't there also some things we could do on the tax side to make things a little bit better? Now,
No.
On capital, Dagan,
What?
I want you to consider.
The answer is no.
On
Right.
capital gains that sellers pay on their homes. Just
You
drop 'em a little bit.
already get a capital gains tax break on
Yeah, but
home sales.
on certain homes.
No, on like federally, like the first, how much is
If
it?
you reinvest it, you're fine.
Right,
If you're
but you-
doing it to flip and make money, you pay it.
But you don't reward flippers.
Or a multiple property situation where you
But
don't
those are
have
the people
homes.
who are being multiple properties. Aren't those the boogie people?
Well, I'm not trying to complicate this. I'm just trying to come up with solutions on the supply side.
I say no on taxes, on incentives from the government, because home ownership is already $250 billion subsidized industry.
Investment, yeah.
Investment. We as a nation, as taxpayers, subsidize home ownership more than we subsidize family formation and children in terms of dollars.
Don't look at me,
I'm coming
Brian.
to you next, Taylor. I'm putting the ball
Do
on
the
the tee
math.
for you
Don't
next.
you want to know
The
geographically where those searches are coming
these
from?
subsidized mortgages. I'm not done bitching about the subsidy of the $250 billion.
I was hoping
plus.
you were, which is why
the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they're actually buying more mortgages for their portfolios.
That's true.
That's a subsidy. It's $200 billion. That's a subsidy, cheaper mortgages, tax breaks, mortgage interest deduction. I digress. And there are breaks on property taxes, just as an example, in Florida. The one issue is it is psychological. If you're sitting on a property and it's like, this is my price, you got to hit my price. And it's not necessarily based in math. It's just based in what I need because I want to move somewhere. Or this is the home I would like to buy.
Or this is my payoff.
Right. Or
my
this is
mortgage
my
balance.
percentage gain on this home.
I'm with you on the capital gains tax.
Thank you.
Wait, I may be mistaken.
There's
So what are you
already
with?
a break on capital gains
If
taxes.
I knew that if I could sell my home,
Yep.
I wouldn't have to pay taxes on the
Profit.
Gain.
profit.
So you could.
I could lower the price and have more buyers be able to afford.
Are you
that
committed to
home.
buying another one, or you just want to put it in your pocket?
Yeah, but
Either.
this
No,
gets,
not either.
this
Not
puts a
either.
lot of
Why not?
properties in circulation.
I want to put it in my pocket.
I would say sorry,
Why?
because you basically.
Why does the
Who
government
put you
get
in
a
charge
cut
of
of
putting money in the
everything?
pocket?
The government didn't do anything to that home.
So do I not have to pay taxes on the stock that I bought and have appreciation also?
You're coming for me next. I'd love that.
You
Why does the government
You
get a cut
already
of
get
everything?
a $500,000 capital gains tax exclusion. $500,000. That is right in line with the median home price in this country.
I don't
already.
like how the government has their hands into everything that they didn't deserve a piece of. They didn't do anything
It's a
to
different-
increase
it's a
the
different
value
debate.
of that property. Here's another thing that I'm
Actually, they do. Actually, they do. Because your home, well, you live in an apartment, but your home, people always say this, they act like their little piece of land. And I say that because I've got my little piece of land, my house on it. But it's not like McDowell, the nation, or McDowell, the country.
Could be.
No,
Your
because
land?
like the road around the house,
But we do that through property taxes, which leads to my next point.
nope.
What if there is a
Not all the
narrative
pro- the-
going around?
No, a lot of the money comes from the federal government.
Okay, people like me, maybe my generation, who says, you think you own a home? Try not paying your property taxes and then let me know who owns your home.
The person who bought the taxes, the tax.
The government.
Yeah.
So, do you ever really own your home? And that's sort of been circulating
Yep.
among my crowd of saying,
and older
I am
people, too.
done.
Well, you
I
don't.
am
Oh,
no.
done with it because I am sick of the government taking. Property taxes go up, the value of my home
Then
doesn't
just solve
go
the
up.
spending, and we won't have a taking.
So,
problem.
and now we're on a whole other issue.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I hear you, but
No,
there is
all
that
right.
narrative going around where
Okay,
people are
but
saying,
let me
I'm
respond
done.
to this.
Okay, real quick,
Wait,
'cause
let
we
me
have-
let me respond. Okay, let's say on your note, and a lot of people feel this way, Taylor. So don't pay your property taxes, and whatever you get from your property taxes goes away. That's fire department, police department, they ain't showing up.
School.
So you better have a lot of fire extinguishers around your property, and you're not going to have any roads. Like the value of your home is enhanced to a large extent by what the property taxes cover, and federal taxes like your gas taxes cover the maintenance of
it's a
highways.
CAM charge.
Right.
what it
So
I think, and I hear you.
the value of your property is wildly
Long-term,
enhanced.
People are frustrated that the cost of home ownership through all of these other things are going up when the
Yes.
value of my home is going down. And the only way I can fight the increase in property taxes is go to court and try to prove that the value of the property has not gone up as much as the property taxes have gone up. And people don't want to take on that fight.
I'm just going to go one deeper than that
Real
for
quick.
your friends
Yep.
who feel that way. You never really own the home because you die. So you get to just pay for it while you're alive. You just get to use it. And then when you die, the next person's going to live there.
But if they bury me on the property, I can haunt it forever, Jack. Don't forget that.